Well, my next guest is joining forces with Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin in introducing a National Stand Your Ground Act of 2023. Now, this is deeply personal to me, given I was the victim of 6 assailants breaking into my house when I lived in Virginia Beach. I had to go to court to defend myself after defending my home, my own home. Now, the proposed law states, quote, a person is justified in using, threatening, or attempting to use deadly force if he or she, only 2 genders, reasonably believes that using, threatening, or attempting to use such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself or another, to prevent the imminent commission of a forcible felony. Joining me now is the man sponsoring this, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. Congressman, appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me. And if you're watching this interview from a blue state, the chances are you probably have a legal duty to retreat if someone encounters you on the street or in a park or on a beach and attempts to commit a forcible felony against you. And I think that's crazy. The duty to retreat is one that I believe we should extinguish nationwide. In Florida, where we have a stand your ground law, we actually put the law on the side of the victim, not on the side of the attacker.
Yeah, noble concept there, Congressman. But like I said, this is deeply personal to me. I lived in Virginia Beach at Hadcastle's doctrine at the time, but I live in the Socialist Republic of Connecticut now. If somebody breaks into my house and I have my kids sleeping upstairs, I have to retreat from my house. I cannot prevent that person from coming further into my home because I have the duty to retreat. I don't think people understand how significant is this.
Well, it could be deadly, because if you miscalculate a decision and you attempt a retreat and you fail, that could result in the death of a loved one, a family member, even yourself. And also, if you miscalculate in one of these blue jurisdictions that require someone to retreat and you commit an act of self-defense, you can go bankrupt, you can be arrested, you can be forced to have to defend this conduct forever. And that's not what should happen. The common law has got it wrong here. If someone is intending to commit a forcible felony on you, a battery that is aggravated, sexual assault, a rape, people ought to be able to fight back. We found a lot of women coming to support this cause because they don't want to ever think that if they're out in some parking lot and someone is lurking behind them and makes an effort to try to harm them, that they would have to try to run before utilizing force to repel that attack.
Yeah, but the other thing, Congressman, is that when you have things like this, like, look, the deck is stacked against me. I'm a 250-pound Navy SEAL. If I defend myself, even if somebody comes at me with a knife, I have to have the duty to retreat. But how much is this retreating duty discouraging good Samaritans from stepping in when cops aren't around?
Yeah, I believe that you should have no duty to retreat even in the defense of others if that person is at risk of being killed in the absence. And you're right, we've become such a legalistic society. We've lost some common sense around the fact that if someone's acting to protect another, they ought to be protected by the law. We saw this recent case in the subway in New York that seems to have everybody so worked up. But how are you supposed to know in that situation that someone who's harassing passengers, who's had over 40 arrests, isn't going to engage in something deadly when they're accosting people? And so we don't want to see loss of life under any circumstance, but we need to vigorously protect the right of self-defense, especially in these times where in blue jurisdictions they're treating the jail like a turnstile.
Right. And with this legislation, Congressman, I'd bet my bottom dollar that people will stop messing around if they think they can get hit back. Congressman Matt Gaetz, we appreciate you being here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
In Florida, it does keep. In Florida, our stand your ground laws do keep everybody cordial and friendly.
And civilized society is the goal. Thank you, Congressman.